Just seeing it off the window now is like a little different for me too, so you know.
This is your first time seeing it off the window?
Like when we're stuck up there on the boards, it's like, it gets long. My name is Jamahl, I'm an artist. Lady Victory, so like Lady Victory is the statue that sits on top of the circle. And so I made it for the first 3 days of the protest. And so like I was kind of like going off the first 3 days of my protest. So each board represents 2 days of the protest, and the last one representing like what I wanted to see come from it. So I'll just start with the first one, which was like kind of the atmosphere in the circle, and it was kind of like us grieving, not just for George Floyd, but all the victims that experienced the same thing as George Floyd. And the point of the artwork was to keep the focus of what the protest was about. Like once the aftermath had happened, I felt like everybody kind of like shifted like blame toward protest and everything else. And it's like that seemed like the easiest thing to do, but let's remember what this is about. You know what I mean? So that was kind of like the first thing it was about. And it's about grieving and mourning the people that we've lost, you know, whether we know them or not. The second one was just kind of like reiterating what we were here for, you know what I mean? So you see at the bottom, it's like all the crowd like holding up the sign, everybody's kind of like saying things that we've heard several times. You know what I mean? Like in our own community. And then you got 846 that's on the foreheads of each of the crowd members, which is the duration that it took to murder George Floyd. So that's kind of like just representing like what this is about, like center stage. So like, you know, people will try to put their own like spin on what the story is, but it's just about sticking to the facts with these first two pieces. And so then the last one is just what I want to see like come from it in the future. You know what I mean? I know there's been a lot of damage, a lot of, you know, chaos. But I mean, and I do feel like, you know, there is some healing coming from it. You know, the community being built from it, and you know, with that, it's just like, you know, that's what makes a family. That's what makes, you know, this like healing process all the more better. You know what I mean? So I just want to see more of the healing process, and that's this third one.
Yeah. For you, what role does art play in the revolution?
I mean, it's kind of like it's like the permanent voice, you know what I mean? Like, you know, everybody says something, it's kind of like, it's said, and it's like written down in the chord, put up and everything like that. But when you talk about like art, you know, it's the stuff that we look at 200 years from now, and it's like, you know, this happened, and it's the lesson that was learned from it, at least from one individual, you know, and people can take that lesson and, you know, apply it however they want to in their own life, but at least you got the facts, you know, in this kind of like brilliant form that I feel like even the person in the layman's terms can like understand and resonate with without having to feel like the topic is going over their head, you know. And so that's kind of what I feel like art is. It's like that permanent voice that's, you know, it sticks.
Yeah. So it's really interesting that this particular mural is inside this bank, and there's people coming through here conducting all sorts of business every day. What kind of emotion or response do you want people to have when they walk past and see this every day?
Well, a few things. I want them to be aware, you know, that the gravity of the situation is very serious. You know what I mean? Like, and that's kind of like the main focus for the first two pieces. That like, you know, we do have to be aware that this situation is a state of emergency. I mean, you got like, and it's not ever to say every cop is like that, but you have a systemic like system set up to where it's basically going against the people it's supposed to be protecting, and that in itself is kind of like a dire situation. You know, but then on the same note though, I don't want people to also like get stuck in that kind of negativity. The whole idea is to always motivate people or inspire people to find a solution to the problem. And I feel like when you start to focus on more the solution than you do the problem, like not only do you find the solution, but you actually start to build more positivity around that sort of nature of finding the positivity than just like focusing on the problem and not moving from here. So everything that I do in my artwork as far as the revolution goes is like identifying the problem and then at least attempting to like slide some of the solutions in so that somebody probably knows better than me could be inspired to be like, you know what, I do have solutions.